Hey friends, it's Catherine Ewing here from Sacred Heart Alchemy. Um, I'm doing this on my phone, which I don't usually do, but for some reason the computer's being really weird. So I'm just going to start here. Um, as you know, I work primarily with folks who have trauma and have been using tapping for, oh my gosh, almost 13 years now to really help people deal with what's going on in their bodies. Hi, thanks for joining. In your bodies, in your sort of mental body, emotional body, physical body. Hi, Nina. And one of the things that I've been noticing lately is a tremendous increase in the number of clients I'm seeing who have been diagnosed with some kind of autoimmune disorder or tick-borne illness. And hi, Judy, welcome. And as some of you may know, I received a diagnosis of Lyme myself about 3 weeks ago. And I just want to do a little disclaimer here because so many people have, written me lovely notes, especially when I do these Facebook Lives, wishing me well. And I want to say I am really feeling quite well. And I am so blessed. I feel so blessed. And compared to so many other people that I know, clients, friends, just people I talk to, and just the numbers I think Spirit actually allowed me, if you will, to contract this particular diagnosis in order to bring my attention and my awareness to really the struggle and the pain that so many people have with it. I mean, I sort of knew it on some level, but because I contracted it myself, I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of listening to, alternative folks offering different kind of therapies and modalities, looking at different books. And I just am sort of blown away by the increase of frequency and certainly the intensity of the symptoms and challenges that people are facing. And I jumped on the other night and did sort of a really ad lib tapping just because I felt guided to do it, and I feel guided, and it so many people watched it. So it sort of reinforced for me that there really are so many people out there who are struggling with, these diagnoses. And so I wanted to come on tonight because one of the things is, as I've been, again, working with my clients, is this sense of hopelessness, right? They have this diagnosis, they have, whether it's a tick-borne illness or some autoimmune disorder or one of these sort of mystery illnesses that nobody can quite figure out what's going on. There's a sense of hopelessness that comes with the condition, and especially if people have been struggling for a long time, going from doctor to doctor, test to test, medication to medication. And hi, Ingrid, nice to have you here. And so I wanted to address that feeling of hopelessness tonight. And as you may know, this is called, I think I titled it, tap into or tapping on feeling hopeless. And so my go-to modality that I have been using for over 12 years now is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, which is the tapping modality. And I have just found it to be so effective, not only in my own life, but in using it with clients for, as long as I've known it now, 13 years. And, I do, as I said, work with clients who have had all kinds of traumas in their life. What I call sort of the big T traumas, right, that most people would think about, whether that's, really significant abuse or, domestic violence, that kind of trauma, to early loss, right? That's another issue that I deal with a lot, having lost both of my parents, and, the accumulated effect of loss in one's life. And what I really want to mention here, as I'm, my mind has just sort of got so many different ideas coming in, is the connection that I have certainly been aware of, but I'm seeing more and more between people who are struggling with these autoimmune disorders and the fact of having a challenging or difficult early childhood, right? Where there's been loss, where there's been dysfunction in the family, where there's probably been some family violence, maybe domestic violence, where there's been drug or alcohol abuse, where there's maybe been somebody in the family or in the home with mental illness, or maybe there's been a sibling with chronic, some other kind of chronic physical illness where parents' attention were drawn to the sick child. So many ways that kind of early trauma, even the loss of a pet, right, for a child, so many ways that kind of early childhood trauma gets held in the body and gets interpreted by the child perhaps as having been their fault, right? Children see the world as though they're at the center of it. So when something bad happens, they naturally interpret that as they somehow did something to cause that situation. And so they might be holding old beliefs about not being good, not being worthy, not being deserving, all that kind of not good enough energy that we carry. And it stays, those heavy, dense energies stay in the body. They don't move through. And it's my belief, and I'm saying this not as a medical person, but just with someone who has a lot of experience with people with, significant emotional distress. Hey, Angela, that the heavier, denser vibration, every one of those emotions, if we're growing up in a situation where there is some kind of violence or drama or trauma or fear going on, and the children are holding that energy, right, of fear and blame and criticism and terror and always being on edge, always watching out, always having their amygdala sort of turned on, sort of, always looking out for the next dangerous thing to try to keep themselves protected. All of those energies stay in the body, right? They all have their own chemical component, and the lower vibrating emotions are denser and heavier. They just don't move through the body as easily. And my opinion, this is my opinion, again, I'm not a medical person, is that the existence of those heavier and denser energies in the body play a part in these autoimmune disorders, even in what they're calling Lyme. I just believe that there's so much unknown, and I think that there's much more that has to do with the emotional life, if you will, of a person, and not just some kind of spider bite or tick bite or something else. It could be that that's the trigger, that's the impetus, but I think that sort of activates all of these other denser, heavier energies that are sort of being dormant in the system. So anyway, enough said about that. I know that in the moment, obviously, it takes a long time for the body to heal. So my intention tonight is to tap on this feeling of hopelessness enough to hopefully lighten someone's energy who has really been working with this and, living with this and feeling stressed and feeling frustrated and feeling like they're never going to get an answer or they're never going to get better. So I can't promise you that you'll get better tonight. But I really believe, because I know the power of tapping and I know the power of EFT to begin to move energy through your system, that just through tapping along with me, whether you're on here live or whether you'll watch this later, will move your energy and will lighten you up in a way that will support your body to be more relaxed, to feel less stressed, and that will support your healing. So I'm going to do a couple of rounds, maybe 3, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to sort of start tapping, and we're going to go from there. So as you know, in EFT, we start tapping on the karate chop spot in what's called a setup phrase. And the setup phrase is always telling the truth and then making a statement of acceptance for ourselves, right? So even though I feel so hopeless about this diagnosis and this condition, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to get better, I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings. Even though I feel frustrated and hopeless after all this time, all these doctors, all these tests, and still no real help, I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings. even though I'm getting to the point where it's hard to believe that anyone or anything is really going to be able to help me. I'm so frustrated and I feel hopeless because it's like my life has disappeared. I'm not the person that I used to be. This illness has taken so much away from me, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings. All this pain, all this frustration, this pain in my body, this exhaustion, it hurts all the time. Sometimes I can hardly move. I can barely get out of bed or off the couch. I used to be active. I feel so hopeless and so helpless. There's so many things that I used to do that I can't do anymore. People are frustrated with me. They don't understand. They have no idea what it feels like to be living in this body. I'm frustrated with me. I don't want to be like this. I think of myself as a healthy person. I always was a healthy person until this disease seemed to take over, seemed out of nowhere, all these weird random symptoms, all these ways in which my body seemed to be fighting against me. I've always thought of myself as strong and healthy and vibrant, and I want to continue to think of myself in that way, but it's really hard to do that. It gets really challenging when day after day I'm in so much pain. I'm so exhausted. I can't do the kinds of things that I used to do. I feel really hopeless and helpless. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm tired of going to doctors. Nobody seems to have an answer. Nothing that I seem to do seems to help. I'm so tired. I'm so tired all the time. I'm so tired of everything, really. I'm tired of this diagnosis. I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of feeling sick. I'm tired of trying to watch my diet. It doesn't really seem to make that much difference. And I'm tired of trying to make other people understand how I feel, because I know they can't and they never will. I feel so hopeless. Nobody can really understand my pain unless they've gone through what I've gone through. I feel hopeless and I feel powerless. I don't know who to go to anymore. I've lost trust in the doctors. I've lost trust in the tests. I don't even trust what they tell me anymore because it seems contradictory. And I don't know what to believe. I Google things. I belong to Facebook groups. I read books. I try to be as on top of this as I can, which is in and of itself is hard because I'm so tired and I have this brain fog and it's hard to remember anything that I'm reading or hearing, but I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to do the things that I can do to help myself, but I'm so overwhelmed by all of the information, especially when so much of it doesn't really seem to have made much of a difference. I'm beginning to feel hopeless. I'm beginning to wonder if I'm ever going to get better. I don't know who to trust. I can't trust my own body anymore. This is really hard. I feel really hopeless, and I don't know what to do about that. So let's just come on back here for a moment. If you've been tapping along, I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and just sort of check in and just notice what you notice. Notice whether there's anything going on in your physical body. Notice whether there are any thoughts that are bubbling up for you, perhaps in agreement with some of the things I've said, or perhaps some of your own thoughts about this. And also just notice your own emotions. What's coming up for you? Because behind the feeling hopeless and the frustration There are many, many other feelings going on, right? There may be anger, there may be disappointment, there may be sadness, there may be loneliness, there may be blame, there may be guilt or shame, right? Because you aren't the person you want to be or who you used to be. So just be aware of all the things that are coming up for you. And we're going to do another round of tapping now. Perhaps you're noticing that you feel a little lighter or not. Sometimes the first round can bring things sort of up into your conscious awareness, and you can actually feel a little bit worse after the first round. But just hang with me here, because I know that as we keep tapping and we begin to move the energy even more, that you will start to notice a difference and that you'll feel something lift. So let's go ahead and start a second round. Even though I still feel hopeless, I choose to honor and respect myself and my body. Even though I still feel the sense of hopelessness, and I know nothing has really changed in this short time, I choose to focus on the possibility that I could get better. Even though I'm feeling hopeless and still frustrated, I choose to be open to healing now, because I don't know what's possible. But my choice is to believe that it is possible for me to heal. I still feel hopeless and frustrated. My body hasn't healed in these 10 minutes. But I choose to believe that my body can heal. I choose to believe that I will be able to heal, that my body will figure out a way to bring itself back into healing. I'm still frustrated. I'm still exhausted. I still feel the pain, and I still feel hopeless. But I'm also feeling a little bit lighter. It even seems better just to say things out loud. I hold so many things in, so much pain, so many feelings, so many different thoughts, because I know nobody wants to hear it. People are tired of listening to me. My family, my friends, they don't want to hear it anymore. And I don't have colleagues anymore because I've had to stop working. And it's really frustrating to not be able to work, because there's things I want to do. There's things I like to do. I enjoyed working. I enjoyed being out in the world. I enjoyed contributing by doing the kind of work that I did. And so my whole sense of myself, my identity, the way that I served the world, the way that I contributed, the way that I helped to support my family financially, all of that has changed since I got this diagnosis. It's no wonder I feel hopeless sometimes. It's no wonder I feel angry and frustrated sometimes. I'm going to take this moment to just accept my feelings and not get down on myself because I have these emotions. It makes sense that I would feel this way. Everything that I knew about my life and the way that it was has been turned upside down and inside out with this illness that doesn't seem to have, right, an end. It just seems to be going on and on. More and more medication, more and more doctors, more and more tests, and nothing really seems to be helping. But I choose to remain hopeful, because in some ways, what other choice do I have? I certainly can't give up. I have a life, I have a family, I have friends, and I believe that I have a purpose. And so even though I feel hopeless and helpless sometimes, I choose hope. I choose to believe that sometime soon my body will begin to heal. I don't really know how that's going to happen. The doctors don't seem to have any good answers. So I guess it's time for me to believe in a higher power. Perhaps there is something more than what the doctors have to offer. So I choose to stay open. I choose to stay hopeful. I choose to have faith and belief that my body can begin to heal and that my life can begin to go back to the way it was, or maybe even to something better. So let's just tap a few more times on the karate chop spot here. And once again, let the energy settle. I can't really see here on my phone if anybody's writing anything. I see some of you are waving. But if there's a way that you can figure out how to make comments or how to share your experience so far, please feel free to add those in. And even if I can't answer them while I'm live, I'll definitely take a look later when this is on Facebook as a recording and see if I can respond. So again, just notice whether anything has shifted. Notice how you feel energetically in your body. Notice if anything feels any more relaxed or energized. Sometimes people notice they're yawning a lot, or there might be tears, or you might just feel different in your body. Perhaps some heaviness has lightened up, or some place that was really tight or tense may feel a little looser, or you may just feel kind of a buzzing, like an electricity running through your body. That's what happens when we're tapping and we start to move that energy that's been dormant for a long time. So I'm going to do one more round before we wrap up. And I usually, depending on how much time I have, if I'm working with a client or in a group, I'll do a round or two, really focus on the problem, because we really have to focus on the problem, right? We can't just skip over it to the more positive, as much as people want to try to do that. You're welcome, Angela. So when I demonstrate this, I like to spend at least a couple rounds, really focusing on the problem at hand, and then maybe getting into, oh, you're welcome, Judy. What a sweet comment. Thank you for writing. I'm so nice to see the comments coming up now. I love to know that you're really out there. It just makes me feel so much energized. And anyway, thank you so much. So I like to do a couple of rounds really focused on the issue or the problem, and then move into what I call some more permissive language, sort of opening things up. And then if we have time, a final round of really positive and energized tapping. So since we've done 2 rounds already, I think I'm going to combine those last 2. We'll go back into doing some more permissive language. I did a little bit of that the last time, and then sort of shift into some language that's really focused on the real positive, right? So let's go ahead again. So even though I have this illness, this diagnosis, this condition, this mysterious condition in my body, and I'm not sure what the future is going to bring, I choose to believe that I can get over this, that I can heal from this, that I can feel better. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings. Even though I'm not sure how I'll heal from this, because up till this point, nothing's been terribly helpful or definitive. I choose to stay open to the possibility of healing. I choose to stay open to my body knowing exactly what it needs to do to heal itself. Even though I'm still a little bit hopeless and a little bit powerless, I also know that the more positive and the more hopeful I can be, the more that will help my body energetically. The more that I can raise my own vibration by having higher level thoughts, by experiencing higher level emotions, the more I can help myself to heal. And so I choose self-healing in this moment. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings. It's not easy to shift from feeling helpless and frustrated and down around this condition. And I know that the higher I can raise my thoughts, the higher I can raise my emotions, the more I can manage my own mindset, the better it will be for me. So I choose in this moment to focus on the positive, to turn my attention and my awareness to miracles and to possibility and to healing. I know that there is more to this than doctors and tests. I know that there's more at play here. And I'm willing to go into my own body. I'm willing to love my own body. I'm willing to accept my own body, even when there's a part of me that wants to reject it. But I know that there's information here. I believe that my body has taken on a lot of heavy and dense energy over the years. I know that there have been some difficult things in my life that may or may not be the cause of this illness, but certainly may be contributing to the difficulty I've had in getting well. Maybe it's not just about doctors and prescriptions or even diet or supplements. Perhaps this is about me being willing to look inside, to do a deeper dive to the things in my life, to the things in my experience, to the things in my childhood that have caused me to hold on to beliefs that don't serve me, to energies that don't support me, to emotions that hold me back like anchors, dense, heavy emotions like fear and shame and blame, Hirita, guilt, humiliation, feeling powerless, despair, terror. I may be holding a lot of those different energies in my energy bodies, my mind, my emotions, right? My mental, emotional, physical, spiritual body. Everything that I've experienced in my life is held somewhere in my cellular memory. And perhaps if I begin to be curious about how those emotions are affecting my health, perhaps I might find some of my own answers. Perhaps I might open up to some things I wasn't aware of before. Places that need healing within me, emotional healing, that will help to support my physical healing. And so instead of asking the usual questions like, why did this happen to me? Or will I ever get better? Or, any of the things I typically ask myself, perhaps I should ask some different questions. How is it going to be so easy to heal? How can I be grateful for my body and how it has worked for me all along? What can I learn about myself and my life experience that will help me to heal? Where can I offer myself or someone else forgiveness so that I can let go of the energy of unforgiveness or blame? Where can I love myself? How can I love myself free of shame or guilt or humiliation or embarrassment? How is it possible for me to feel hopeful? How can I begin to feel power in my own life? How am I able to shift my thoughts and my emotions? Hey, Roseanne, long time no see. From these heavier, denser energies, from these questions or thoughts that take me down the rabbit hole. How can I change them into energies of gratitude and appreciation for life, for breath, for everything else? Maybe not the disease just yet. Perhaps I can't feel grateful and appreciative for that. But I can look outside at the flowers. I can hear the sound of laughter. I can hear the birds chirping. I can hear the rain. There's so many things that I can be grateful and appreciative for. And it doesn't really matter what I choose, because any appreciation, any gratitude, any joy that I can bring into my experience raises my vibration. And every time I raise my vibration, I'm supporting my own healing. So I choose higher vibrating emotions, emotion, energy in motion. I choose energies that will move through my body quickly and lightly and help to move out the heavier, denser energies. I choose thoughts and questions that open me up to higher levels of consciousness rather than taking me down the rabbit hole of even further despair and helplessness. How does it get any better than this? How have I healed myself from this condition? How have I brought the right and perfect people and information into my life to support my healing? I don't know the answers to that just yet, but I know that if I ask the right questions, I'm opening myself up to the universe and to all the information that it can provide for me in this moment. And for that, I feel grateful. Alrighty, my dears. Here we are. So just before we wrap up, once again, just sort of checking in, seeing how that all feels. Noticing how the energy is moving through your body now. And hopefully noticing that you feel lighter and perhaps more hopeful than you have felt when we started. So I wish you well on your journey to healing. If I can support you in any way, you're welcome, Judy. Feel free to reach out. I'm all over Facebook, and sacredheartalchemy.com is my website. So reach out and let's chat. And for tonight, have a beautiful night, rest well, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.